Hello, friends, and welcome to episode 134 of Discourse in Magic. And it is just me. I thought I would do a quick catch-up episode, give you a little bit of state of the affairs. A lot of people have been reaching out and saying some really awesome things about Tyler and about the future of the podcast. So I thought I would talk a little bit about the state of the affairs, some interesting things in my Magic world. So the first thing that I wanted to talk about, just a piece of interesting Magic or interesting pop culture before I start talking about the Tyler situation, because I know a lot of people have questions. One interesting thing in pop culture is the Banksy painting. So I know that a lot of people have watched it, and somebody recently posted on Facebook and brought to my attention, and I think that it was actually Glenn West, but somebody brought to my attention that someone wrote a little write-up explaining how based on where the blades were in the photos that you see, it couldn't have shredded the painting. Now, whether or not that's true, I have no idea, and maybe people smarter than me go look into the Banksy painting and information related to that, but I just thought it was interesting, particularly on the tail end of David Parr's episode, because he was talking so much about how the story and the presentation can really allow you to get away with the method. And it reminded me of the Banksy painting when I was thinking about the David Parr episode, because you look at the painting and you watch it shredding, and the story of a painting shredding in the moment that it was purchased is such an amazing story that nobody would actually check to see if it's actually shredding. So the idea is that the painting was cycled inside of the frame somehow and a different shredded thing came out. Again, I don't know if that's true, but I just thought it was interesting and I thought that I would bring it up. So number one, this is really funny, is, and I mean this in the kindest way to anybody who reached out, but in the last 24 hours, I've maybe had 20 different people send me a message asking if I want them to be the new co-host of the podcast, which is super funny and also super heartwarming and amazing that people want to talk about Magic that much and are that excited. And it was incredible, actually, the people that had really cool qualifications to come on. So I'm not opposed in the future at some point to doing guest hosts, but it'll probably be people that are close to me or somebody who I have a real particular reason to bring on as a guest host. So at the moment, no, I'm not looking for a new co-host, but thank you to everybody for reaching out. And the next thing is a new idea that I had for the podcast. So I know that we did this once before, but I thought that if we got a lot of submissions, then I could do a whole separate mini show on Mondays, and it would be a questions show. So you send in your questions. I can do my best to either answer it or point you to the direction of a resource, but basically each episode will be one question, and that'll make it a lot easier for people to comment their resources. So even if I don't know the best thing to do or the best resource for you, somebody will comment and you'll be able to go look in that episode and find an answer to the question. So if you think that's a cool idea, let me know, send me a message, but more importantly, send me a voice note. And I'm going to walk you through right now how easy it is to do, because to be honest, I was trying to set up something called Google Voice, which is like a voicemail where people could call and leave a voicemail, but for some reason it's not available in Canada or something like that. If you have a better solution, let me know. But right now, the really easy solution is if you have a smartphone, which you probably do, and if you don't, you have any device, pull up the recording, ask any question, like say anything, and then you can immediately send it in to me. So if you're interested in doing that, call in. Feel free to call in some questions. And if we have enough, we'll do a whole separate show. I'll talk a little bit about living situations just because some interesting things are happening and that might influence the podcast. So the first interesting thing is Mark and I are moving out of this place and Tyler is moving into here with his partner Brittany, which is really fun because it's just cool to keep it inside the family. So that's going to be really exciting. And I am potentially moving in with Ben. We're looking at finding a place, which is really cool because it means that I'm not going to have to go to his house multiple times a week to have meetings, or him come here or us meet at a Starbucks or something, but instead we're gonna have like an office that's part of our house, which is really cool. And another aspect of that that's really cool is the same way that I was influenced here by living with Mark, I'm gonna be influenced by living with Ben and learning from him And potentially we're going to do more interactive things based on what we do. So we might have a lot of things relating to Toronto Magic Company. I know a lot of questions came in, and when we released the Toronto Magic Company episode, at the end of the episode, Ben or I or both of us said, if you have any questions or if you want to start up shows like that in your city, let us know. And we got a ton of people sending in messages, and we hopped on Skype with at least 2 different sets of people to talk about producing shows in their city. So I think there's a lot of interest in producing shows and also creating a lot of new material. So one of the things I wanted to talk about is the state of the affairs of TMC, because there's a lot of details that I don't know that I go into with Tyler. And I know that it's been probably a month since I spoke about it. And not that a lot has changed, but a lot of things that were on pause for the summer are now back up in full swing. And I thought I would talk a little bit about each of them and some things that I am excited about in all of them, to see if there's anything that you can get something from, and see if if you maybe advice for me, because there's things that I'm doing right now with Toronto Magic Company that I am really, really new to. The first is Newest Trick in the Book. So Newest Trick in the Book is our open mic magic show. So it is the only open mic magic show in Canada, potentially in North America. We're not entirely positive, but people are now messaging us from around the world. But basically 5 magicians do brand new material every week. So that show was on pause for all of the summer, started back up near the end of September, and now it is all the way going. We've done it now for 3 weeks or 4 weeks. I think one of them we had to cancel. So it's been really amazing. We filled out the house now 2 times out of the 3. We've done a really good job with packing it, and it's a free show. And here's some of the things that I'm really excited about now that it's back in full swing. The first is I love watching a variety of other people's acts. Otherwise, I see my act over and over again. I see Ben's act over and over again. I see Mark's act over and over again. I like seeing different magicians and different acts, and every week we have different magicians. So it's cool because I get to see a lot of magic in person, and there's a lot of variety in Toronto. So that's something that I look forward to and I've been really appreciating so far. Another thing that I like about it is that, of course, selfishly, I get to create a lot of new magic. I host the shows, so I get an opportunity to try new things, and I've been really stepping outside of my comfort zone, trying some magic with coins, trying some magic with some interesting objects, and doing magic that I don't usually do. I play right now a lot of comedy, but I've been leaning towards on stage and at Newest Trick in the Book doing things that are a little bit more serious. I don't know, testing things out. That's what it's for. So I've been really, really appreciating that. And yeah, so Newest Trick in the Book is every Tuesday. If you're in Toronto, we'd love to see you out there. The next part of Toronto Magic Company that is back up in order, which I'll talk about very briefly, because I think we covered it well when I was with Tyler, but the Art of Magic. So we've had 5 Art of Magic shows now. They've all sold out. Our 6th one is live, and it's a quarter sold out. They're doing very well, partially through Facebook marketing and Instagram marketing, partially through the content marketing, which is only different because I'm not talking about Facebook ads, but I'm talking about regular Facebook posts, and doing those things in conjunction with each other have been really valuable. And also just discoverability online, people searching Toronto Magic shows and us coming up because we have so many shows and we are the Toronto Magic Company. So that has been really fun, and those shows have been selling out, and we've been able to feature really cool acts. Nick Wallace, the Evisons, Keith Brown, Mark Correa. We have the Sentimentalists coming up, Jason Palter, who was just on Fool Us. A lot of really cool people, and it's exciting to feature amazing Toronto acts on our show. So that has been really cool. And the last thing I want to talk about is Dave & Buster's, because Dave & Buster's is again in full swing every Friday and Saturday. Again, I'm doing a lot of work on Facebook and Instagram ads to sell out the show and testing out new things. So if you have advice in your world with Facebook ads and Instagram ads and Google ads, actually, let me know, because I'm testing things and things are working and things are not working, and that's really enjoyable. But also what's happening at Dave & Buster's now is I'm a little bit more diligent about recording every performance and watching them back and making edits and trying new jokes of the same act week after week and performance after performance. Every weekend, I open 2 shows on Friday and 2 shows on Saturday. So I have 4 different attempts to try new jokes in the same set, which has helped me a lot. And my set has grown by doing the same thing and being a little bit more diligent about analyzing being a little bit more diligent about adding new jokes and seeing if they get laughs and trying new things and taking notes and recording it. So if you have an opportunity to perform a lot and perform your act often, remember to record it and watch those recordings and take notes, because it makes a really big difference. And I know that that's obvious, but sometimes you need someone to remind you how big of a difference it makes. So that was one thing that I wanted to talk about. The next thing I wanted to mention is a new member that we have on the team. So different things have been shifting around since Tyler left, since a little bit before actually, but we have a new member of the team. Her name is Jackie Swan. She is an incredible magician in Toronto. She has a lot of coin magic and mentalism. She also works with us now a little bit at Dave & Buster's, at our Toronto Magic Company shows, and she does the writing for the podcast and now the editing for the podcast, as well as helping pull the clips for Instagram. So she really has her hand in the podcast now and is a great addition. I'm going to find a way to introduce you all to her, but definitely send her a message, find her on Instagram. She'll put her account in the description somewhere. She's really talented, one of the best people that we've had 5 different editors, including myself, and I was the second worst, actually, only. Someone else was way worse, and he worked with us for 1 episode. Jackie is really up there, and she's getting better at the editing, but most importantly, she's really good at the writing. So now if you go and read one of the Discourse in Magic episode descriptions, it actually makes sense, and it's valuable, and she adds interesting info. And her editing is actually exceptional too. So I was happy to hand over a lot to her, and I'm glad that she's on the team. So go and give her a shout out, say hi, and she'll be a part of it. And she's in the comments in Discourse in Magic on Instagram. So go ahead and say hi. So the last and final thing that I wanted to do, which is more of a habit that I wanted to get into, is in the episodes that are just me, as well as the regular episodes. You know that we already have the question of the day, but I'm going to make sure that those are being clipped out and given to you guys on Instagram so we can hear what your answers are to the questions that are given by the guests or myself or the guest co-host or whatever's going on. So here is today's question of the day for you. What is one thing in Magic 2018 which you love, and one thing in Magic 2018 which you hate? I think that's a perfect question on the tail end of Tyler leaving, because obviously he mentioned a lot that he does not like. But also, if you are listening to this or you care to leave a comment on Instagram, then there's at least something about Magic that you like and something about Magic that is keeping you here. So there is today's question of the day. Leave a comment on Instagram or Facebook or anywhere where you find it. And other than that, thank you for joining me. I know this episode is a little shorter than usual and a little different than usual, but I wanted to update you all on the state of the affairs. But there you go, question of the day. You have a bit, and a lot of you were sending me messages to send your kind words to Tyler. Don't send it to me. Send the message to Tyler. Let him get the message, because then I have to forward him the message, and that's always weird. I just send him the message. So send him a message that tells him that you love him and that you're thankful that he was a part, or whatever. Send him something kind. Other than that, thanks for being here, and I'll see you next Thursday, and there will be a guest. Peace.